Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our event tonight. We're super excited that you're all here, and we can't wait to tell you about these amazing trips that we have in store. Again, my name is Eric. I'll be your host this evening. We're so happy that you're here, and we can't wait to tell you more. So get comfy, grab a cold one, kick up your feet. Tonight's going to be part happy hour and part dreaming about where the bike can take you. I'm not going to be on my own tonight. I've got my co-guide here, Hershey, who will be talking about more in depth these trips here tonight. So a couple of Zoom tips for you before we get started. We are going to ask at a point in the presentation to please mute and turn off your video. There will be a chat box. So as we go through the presentation, feel free to pop any questions that you have. Hershey or I will be sure to respond to them. And if we don't get to them during the presentation, we'll have some time for a little question and answering at the end. There is closed captioning as well. So for those of you that like that, you can turn that on. It should be located right there at the bottom of your screen. So at this point, if you could all please go ahead and mute your audio and turn off your video, that would be great. So at Trek Travel, we begin every day with a route talk. So you have an idea of where you'll be going and what you're going to get to see on the ride. So today, as you'll see on our little route here, we'll start with who we are at Trek Travel. We'll make our way up the hill and tell you about why you should travel with us and what sets us apart from our competition. We're going to reach the top of the climb there, and Hershey's going to talk about our two trips based in Italy, our Piedmont and the Dolomites trip. Then we're going to descend down, a quick descent, and discuss how you go about booking a trip. And then we'll finish with some question and answers and randomly selected raffle prize winners because we know you all like swag. We're going to have some trivia along the presentation too. So make sure you pop those answers in the chat box. All right, so let's get started. So at Trek Travel, we believe the world is best seen from the seat of a bicycle. And you're joining us tonight, so we're pretty certain that we're in good company. We run cycling vacations all over the world, and we're always scouting out new locations to take you. It's been over 20 years of fun. Over the last 21 years, we have been winning awards, and we take real pride in being voted one of the top cycling vacations by our guests and partners. Recently, we were included being voted number 5 by Travel and Leisure for 2023 World's Best Operators. This is our highest finish ever, and we're super proud of it. In over 21 years, we have been winning those awards. And I apologize. So I'm going to moving on. Sorry about that. The bikes that we have on our trips, these are the Trek Domani SL7s. They're our new fleet of bikes this year. And I'm sure one of the main reasons that you're with us here tonight is because you love to ride your bike. And we know that our bikes are an important piece of what sets us apart. The bike on the screen that you see there, that's our new Trek Domani SL7 and was offered on many of our trips in 2023 and will also be offered on our trips in 2024. We are very excited to share them with you all. Not only do we have road bikes, we have not one, but two super fun electric assist bikes. The first, as you see in the photo here, this is our new Domani SLR7. Domani Plus is available on some of our trips for an upgrade fee. This bike is an electric assist road bike and rides similarly to the Domani, just got that little extra boost for you. Our second e-bike available on many trips, it's going to be on the picture on the next slide, is our Verve Plus. This bike has more of an upright fit. It's like a hybrid bike. It's got a low step through, which is nice, as you don't have to lift that leg over the saddle. So if the idea of riding your e-bike on a trip is interesting to you, we highly recommend hop into one of your local Trek dealers, take it for a test ride, so you're comfortable with the fit and function of the bike prior to your trip. And we always like to let people know that we love e-bikes. In our view, it's simply a great way for people of different fitness levels to all enjoy a cycling vacation. So on the subject of e-bikes, we have our first trivia question coming up. So our question is, how fast does the Verve Plus in the United States go? Is it A, 20 miles an hour, B, 15 miles an hour, C, 25 miles an hour, or D, 10 miles an hour? And you can pop those answers in the chat box right now. And we love e-bikes. It helps get more people on bikes, and we're proud to offer these on our trips so that you can ride longer, farther, and faster than ever before. And the answer to that trivia question is A, 20 miles an hour. In the US, the Verve Plus caps out at 20 miles an hour, and you can see this guest here having the time of her life on it. So a question we get all the time is about the rider level on each of our trips. So we classify our trips by 4 rider levels: 1 leisure, 2 recreational, 3 active, and 4 avid. I won't spend a lot of time on these slides, as you can find all of this information located on our website. So in the picture you see here, this is our Amsterdam to Bruges trip. It's a level 2 option. As you can see, she's on an e-bike. This would be great for a level 1 rider. Our next trip, this is our San Juan Islands trip. This is a great level 2 trip. Level 3, this is our Norway trip. Great for level 3 riders. And lastly, we have our level 4, our classic climbs of the Slovenian and Italian Alps. These are our trips. You'll find the greatest number of miles and or elevation gain. It typically requires a good amount of time on the saddle before the trip, and good bike handling skills as well. All right, so what's included on our trips? As you can see here, we include everything from your hotels, obviously your amazing and fantastic guides. Most meals will be included on trip. We'll have snacks daily on your rides. So the van, we always have a support van as well. They'll be there to feed you and make you stay nourished and fueled for the day of the ride. So with all that's included, we have a much shorter list of what's not included. So you'll be responsible for arrangements getting to and from the trip. Trek Travel is proud to partner with a travel service provider, and we can connect you if you'd like assistance with transportation. Some meals, Trek Travel, you'll have the opportunity on trips to have an evening, we call it our guest choice night, and you'll be able to explore the local cuisine at your leisure for some meals. So we have another trivia question. So open that chat box up, and here it is. What year was Trek Travel founded? Was it A, 2000, B, 2019, C, 2012, or D, 2002? If you were listening closely earlier, you might have caught the answer to this question. And the answer is D. Our team has been crafting unforgettable cycling vacations since 2002. So now we are on to our third and arguably most important component of tonight's event, where we get to dive into our featured trips. 2024 is almost here, and we're so excited for all that it holds in store. The fun of exploring new destinations, the thrill of new adventures, and of course, the memory making that comes along from seeing it all by bicycle. At this point, I'm going to hand it off to my co-guide Hershey, and he's going to dive into these amazing trips.
Hey, Eric, thank you so much for that introduction. And I am so glad to be here with you tonight and everyone else to talk about our two awesome trips. So we are going to start off with our Dolomites bike trip. And what I would like to say is that if you've ever thought about cycling in an incredible area, well, what I want to say is I want you to think epic riding, incredible vistas, climbs that have become famous through the stories of the Giro. So yes, welcome to the Dolomites Bike Tour. Now, we also have a few different trips happening in Italy. We also have the classic climbs of the Dolomites, which just happens to be a 6-day and 5-night trip. That will include the Dolomites and the Italian Alps, which is why it's classic climbs of the Dolomites. Our Dolomites Bike Tour is one hotel, and it is focused in one place for the entire week. And it's a 5-day, 4-night trip, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, the riding here, it is simply incredible. The terrain, well, it's challenging. The climbs can range from 3 to 15 miles. And for me, I wouldn't say it's challenging. I would say it's exhilarating. The gradients vary anywhere from 3% to 12%, 13% at points. And on, the routes every day include an average of 2 to 3 climbs. So if you love climbing and being in the saddle, this trip is definitely for you. And those rider levels that Eric had talked about earlier, this trip is definitely set for those level 3 and 4 riders. And we say this is definitely a type 4 rider trip. Now, the ride that I'm going to show you here, and I kind of wish I would have tweaked this slide for you all. If you look down in the bottom little right-hand corner, you'll see a road that loops around. Well, this is the Passo Fozzarego, and it is simply incredible. It's famous from being in the Giro. It has these beautiful hairpin turns. You go by this little tiny church, and just when you think your heart can't take more, you crest over the top, and the views are simply stunning. And this is one of the rides that we do. Today's ride is approximately 30 miles with 4,300 feet of climbing. Another amazing ride is when we leave from Alleghe and you see Monte Civiata. It'll be on your left. And our mission today is basically we are keeping the mountain right to our left-hand side, and we will do the Marmolada. You'll see it, the peak here, it's just under 11,000 feet. And this ride, as you go around the Marmolada, is incredible. They often call it the Queen of the Dolomites. Now, another day, or you can call it our third day, or it might be the fourth day, in fact, is when we do the Sella Ronda. And to me, the Sella Ronda is the queen stage of this trip. It's like no other. And for us, we will do what's known as the inner loop of the Sella Ronda, which gives you 4 incredible passes: the Passo Gardenia, the Passo Sella, the Passo Pordoi, and the Passo Campolongo. And if you've ever thought about what would it be like to ride 61 miles and do a climb and a descent and a climb and a descent and a climb and a descent and a climb and a descent back to the hotel, well, today is your day to do that. You can see here we circumnavigate the photo that you are looking at on your slides. This is a Celeranda. In the wintertime, people do ski touring around it. And in the summertime, people ride their bikes around it. And it's incredible. Basically at the top of every pass too, except for the Passo Campolongo, is a cafe or a ski chalet. So you can go in and have a nice espresso and continue on your way. Now, another climb that I do need to talk about, because this is one of the other rides we will do on this trip, is the Passo Giao. It's a 6.2 mile climb, or you can say it's a 10K climb. The scenery is incredible. And it's one of those epic ones of the Dolomites as well. I mean, this trip, if you've heard about all the incredible climbs in the Dolomites, we do them all in the Dolomites. If you're saying, hey, Eric Hershey, I want to do Stelvio, Gavia, Motorola. Well, if you want to do those, that is that other 6-day, 5-night trip that we offer, because we also then get into the Italian Alps for those climbs. This one does not do those. All right, now it's time to talk. The other thing about our Dolomites trip that we're highlighting tonight is we are in one hotel for the entire trip. So if you're somebody that goes, I don't want to move around hotels, I like to have suitcase explosion, I like to ride my bike, get back to the hotel at the end of the day and kind of do my thing, this trip is for you. We stay at the Sport Hotel Europa. It's, as I mentioned, it is a perfect way to come back, kick back, relax, put your legs up, go in town, have a gelato, get a coffee, or just enjoy the restaurant. I'd be remiss if I did not bring this up. And you probably are all very familiar with the Maratona Dolomiti, where over 9,000 participants come to do this one day. You can call it a road race. It's more like a massive grand fondo. The roads are closed. And you can see here, this is the riders heading out on the day. This happens the first week of July. And to see it in person, it is surreal. The fondo is simply amazing. And, basically what they do in one day is what we've broken up so you all can enjoy it over the course of 5 days. But speaking of breaking things up, we are going to move on to our second trip of the night. And I would like to say, did you know where the word Piedmont comes from? If not, you can, use a little knowledge with your friends later, but it's 2 words in Italian. It's Pied and Monte, which means foot and hills. So basically you're at the foothills of the mountains. Piedmont is an area that is in northwestern Italy. It sits at the base of the Italian Alps. And if you've ever cycled, as we've talked about, in the Dolomites, or perhaps Tuscany or Puglia, and you're looking for another amazing Italian adventure, well, this trip is for you. What I'd like you to think about are fantastic hotels, great riding. Oh, you're riding in Italy. It's incredible. Amazing food. And of course, espresso, gelato, and then like wine like Barolo, or if you're into truffles, you have truffles too. This trip is for the lovers of Italy, the lovers of Italian food, and of course, the lovers of riding their bikes. I'd say it's a trip for lovers. Now, a fun fact here, besides learning about the word Piemonte, did you know this? Following the end of World War II, cocoa was in short supply in Italy and across Europe. And Pietro Ferrero, he was a pastry maker from Alba, which is in the Piedmont region, decided to use all the hazelnuts that were available in this area. And what he did was he made the sweet paste with a little bit of cocoa, and voila, you have Nutella. So you're going to the heart of where Nutella originally came from. Now let's talk about the riding. It is fantastic. like anywhere in Italy, you have weavy, windy roads. You have great climbs, great descents. No, you're not going to be doing climbs like you do in the Dolomites or in the Italian Alps. However, you are going to be doing some great riding and descending. This trip is designed for those level 3 riders in mind. So if you're a level 4 rider, the Avid options are going to be for you. You'll have some incredible riding, but we do say that you will want to come to this trip fit, in shape, just have the best experience. We're going to average on this trip about 24 miles per day with about 2,300 feet of climbing. We'll ride through some amazing areas, but we're going to go through an area with the most prestigious Cru vineyards, and we'll head to the village of Barolo itself. You'll stop and explore the Barolo Museo de Cavatapi, or the Corkscrew Museum. And then in this ancient village, you'll get to drop into the Enoteca next door for a taste of the town's most famous wines. By the way, Cavatapi is also, if you didn't know this, besides corkscrew, it's a type of pasta. It's that spirally pasta with the little hole in the middle, which gets its name from the corkscrew. Our first hotel of this trip is the Villa Bicaris. It's an 18th century villa. It's now welcomes our guests. It creates a home away from home feel to it. You can see in this photo, the rooms are big. And every room has been restored with its own unique charm, where you're definitely going to feel pampered with luxury. The bathrooms are fantastic. Also, I need to mention they have an amazing infinity pool. So it's a perfect place for you to soak up after a day of drinking wine and riding your bike. But if you want to have a little bit more wine, or in my recommendation, go up to the rooftop patio here, grab an Aperol Spritz. It's very Italian. It's delicious. It's a mix of Aperol, Prosecco, sometimes sparkling water, a slice of orange, and it's a great way to kick back and relax and enjoy your day. Our second hotel is a stunning Relais San Maurizio. This is a 5-star hotel, and it's also been restored from the 17th century. It was once a monastery, and it boasts having its own organic vegetable gardens, a precious legacy of the monks. And the monks have also shared their legacy with the hotel's Michelin-starred restaurant, where you're going to experience a true Italian Michelin-starred meal. So definitely bring your swimsuit to relax at the pool, and then bring your appetite for our last night's dinner, where we get to enjoy the hotel's Michelin-starred restaurant. Now, the history in this part of Italy is simply fascinating. In fact, our Dolomites trip, when you're on the Marmolada during World War I, you'll see just some of the old area up on the hillside that when it was all a glacier, the soldiers dug into the ice. So you basically had people either hanging on ice or digging in and building little caves and caverns through. And they were fighting each other up there. So there's tons of history on the Dolomites trip, but then also you're going to get some amazing history here on our Piedmont trip. We're going to go through all of these amazing villages. We'll go to the town of Nieve. It's a charming village that's been inhabited since the Neolithic area, around 5,000 years ago. The castle of Serralunga d'Alba, one of the most ancient fortified structures in the Longhi region, which is featured here in this slide. And you will bike right by it. Now, another highlight of this trip is a truffle hunt. Yes, that is correct. We go with an expert, and his canine assistant should join us to sniff out the delicacy itself, to talk about the history and the art of collecting truffles. You are going to try to find your own truffles. And then afterwards, we're going to have a true Italian lunch. It'll be the best farm-to-table picnic lunch you've probably ever had. It features the truffles that you foraged, fresh mozzarella, fresh bread from the village, along with a lot of other local specialties. It's actually making me kind of hungry talking about it. Now, on the last evening of the trip, we're going to gather at the Michelin-starred restaurant at our hotel, which is featured in this photo right here, with your new best friends for the week. And we are going to toast to one incredible week together. So everything in the Piedmont region is really tied to truffles and tied to wine. But, you know, I don't want you to take my word for it. What I would like you to do is sit back and watch this video from Stefano and Vibe, and they're going to talk a lot more about our new Piemonte bike tour. So, gentlemen, I would like you to take it away.
Piemonte, definitely a favorite destination for the quality of the hotels, the quality of the riding, the quality of the wine, and the quality of the food. It's a region that definitely is worth it to know and to see.
The first few days are in the Barolo world famous wine. Those bottles, they can be very, very old. All the people that were and work into those vineyards, they might not be even around anymore, but that precious work they've done is still here. So when you open that one, it's just like an explosion of taste and emotions, which stays into your mouth and then in your mind, and that's how you remember Piemonte. Piede in Italian it's foot, monte is mountain, so Piemonte had the foot of the mountain.
Amazing days riding through those hills, the beautiful landscapes. Very good in this area is also the little traffic. Really, really nice riding. We go from really traditional meals, from the trattoria, the osteria, with the typical Italian style, to the very fancy Michelin star restaurants. We get to a farmhouse and they show us how to make mozzarella. And you get an atmosphere what an Italian family does Sunday afternoons. We go truffle hunting. It's amazing because there's an area where there is a lot of truffle. We are close to the beginning of the white truffle. And the really interesting thing is that we're gonna eat what we find.
There are gonna be three things you remember after you leave Piedmont. With your eye, you've been seeing all the landscapes, all these vineyards, which are just unbelievable. All the pattern which is created along the centuries. With your mouth, you're gonna try Italian food, which you also cook part of it and you learn actually how it goes. And then, of course, the people around here. You're gonna remember how people are in Italy, just with your heart and your soul. It's just like, I feel home here. It's really, really cool.
Man, I tell you, that video to me is simply incredible because I think it does it way more justice than me trying to explain stuff. So I'm going to boil this down to a few things. If you are here tonight because you want to ride some of the most incredible rides of the Dolomites, you're still going to have amazing wine because you're in Italy. You're still going to have amazing food. The Dolomites trip is for you. But if you're like, hey, Eric Hershey, you know what I'm thinking about? I am thinking that I want to have some amazing wine, amazing food. I still want to do some great riding, but I want to be engulfed and just surrounded by the culture and learn about mozzarella, learn about truffle hunting, and also have that amazing Michelin star dinner. Well, then the Piedmont trip is definitely for you. And well, with that, I think I can hear my wife telling me that we need to go truffle hunting and get some wine. So, Eric, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Hershey. I am thinking I'm going to join you and your wife on your trip there because I could do some truffle hunting myself. These trips sound amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, everyone, since we've got you all excited, we're going to talk about the next steps into booking one of these trips. So part of the booking process when you're planning your vacation is finding out what the logistics of getting to and from the trip. We have a page on our website which will give you all the information that you need. You head to the trip page and you'll find the travel details section. We always recommend arriving at least one day before the trip just to allow for any travel delays. And if you have any questions about logistics, please feel free to reach out to our trip consultants. They're more than happy to help and provide you with as much information. So we are almost to the end of our event tonight. We host events throughout the year, and usually you have the choice to join in person or virtually like you all are here tonight. If there are other destinations you'd like to learn about, feel free to go to our events page on our website and register and join us again. And if you're joining virtually and want to skip straight to that trip spotlight when Hershey took over at your next event, you can join about 10 minutes after the event start time. But we also post all of our events on our YouTube page, and we'll send you a link to that channel where we upload them and you can watch them anytime you'd like. So what are your 4 next action steps? Number 1, watch for an email from our team. They're going to give you a lot of great information that recaps today's presentation. Feel free to check out our website, take a look at some of the awesome trip photos, play around with that trip finder tool. Give us a call to get starting booking your trip with our trip consultants. They're excited to chat Monday through Friday between 8 and 6 p.m. Central Time. And lastly, get excited for your trip, but don't forget preparation, spending time on your bike ahead of the trip, setting goals. It's all part of the fun. And a great way to prepare, reach out to your local Trek dealer, get some new gear, get fitted on one of the bikes that we're going to take you on, or just chat with them about a training plan before the trip. And now we are on to the last leg of our journey this evening. So hopefully we stirred up some additional questions. If you have them, you're welcome to pop them in the chat box there. Hershey and I will address them vocally, or you're welcome to turn on your mic and video and ask them out loud as well.
Right. So
All
Eric,
right, what do we got?
our one of our first questions in there is, how often do grades get above 12% on the Dolomites Tour? I can tell you the Jow definitely is going to be above 12% at times. Fedaya will be above 12%. Falzarego. Now, that's not the entire climb. It gets above that, but there's definitely sections of it. And the gearing on our Domanis it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So you should be able to spin on up, no problem, as long as you do the work ahead of time. Our Dolomites trip is based in Alleghe. All right, what else?
And feel free to ask questions out loud too, if you'd like.
Yep. Another question here on the Dolomites Tour, typical start and end time. Thanks for the question. On all Trek travel trips, we usually start somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. And then depending on the day, you may finish anywhere between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. It all depends on how much you ride and at what pace, how often you take photos, and what kind of espressos you want to stop at and have along the way.
I see a question from Jack here. As a result of the Shimano recall, will the bikes be checked prior to 2024? Yes, absolutely. At the end of every year, we go through our whole fleet of bikes. They all go back to our warehouse in Madison, and we get them all, back up and ready to go for the upcoming year.
Jack has said, I rode with Stefano and Vibe on the Giro trip, which is awesome.
Nice.
The Dolomites trip as well. We unfortunately, we don't know where we'll all be guiding or who will be guiding. I can tell you that because, Vibe lives in Lago Maggiore and Stefano is also based in Italy. There's a good chance they might be guiding this trip, but we just don't know if they might be in Piedmont or the Dolomites or the classic climbs of the Dolomites. You're welcome to send them an email, but they probably won't know where they're guiding until sometime in the spring.
What is the best airport to land for the Dolomite trip? What's the best airport to land?
That is a great question. I have flown in a few different spots for the Dolomites trip. Sometimes flying into Venice usually is an easier way than to head up into the Dolomites. I can look, we also have on our website, and I'm going to pull that up real quick on my end. And
I did see the fly-in destination to that is the Macro Polo Airport.
Yeah, so Venice.
Which I think is in Venice, yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
and what about Piedmont? Would it be another airport?
Yes, Piedmont is another airport. I believe Piedmont might be Turin, but let me just reconfirm that for you.
Let's see, any other?
Yeah, there's a few other questions in there.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want to trick you with those.
No, it's okay. No apologies. No apologies. Travel details.
So, Hershey, while you look that up, or go ahead.
I was just going to say, so for the Piedmont trip, it is Turin. Will be the easy airport for you to fly in and out of.
Okay, so thanks for the answers.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Absolutely.
So go ahead, Eric.
Looks like Lisa here. How do I get the discount code for Zooming in with you tonight? You'll get the code tomorrow. Look, you'll get it in the follow-up email.
Yeah,
that you'll get tomorrow.
And Kurt asks if there's a discount for a non-riding spouse who wants to experience everything but the riding. There is not. Our trip is designed as a full package, and unfortunately, we don't discount for non-riding guests. With Craig asks, with these two trips, is there a good are they good if you have a non-cycling spouse who wants to come along? So with both of these trips, the Dolomites trip that we stay in one hotel, for a non-cycling spouse, what's great is they can explore the town of Alleghe. You may want to have a car rental so that your spouse can drive along and see stuff, or just go explore the area. With Piedmont, you can definitely bring along a non-cycling spouse. We do move hotels, so sometimes we have limited seats in the van, which could be tricky for doing multiple hotels. But if you were to have, per se, a rental car, then that takes that factor out of it. And I think Piedmont is also another great area. I mean, like, to go truffle hunting, to learn how to make mozzarella, to taste Barolo wine and see that, like, that's great as well for non-cycling spouse.
I have two other questions. First, does the Dolomite tour go all year round? If not, please specify. And the second question is, could you remind me the name of the hotel in Dolomite, where the stay is?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the exact dates for you for the Dolomite Bike Tour. Just give me 1 second. But it doesn't run all year long, mainly because like of snow and everything. So we start the trip in June and it finishes. So late June is when it begins, and our last trip is August 19th through the 23rd. The hotel is the Sport Hotel Europa, and that's in Alleghi.
It's in where you said? The sport
The
hotel?
village of Alleghi.
Okay, how do you spell Alleghi?
Alleghi, it's
Yeah.
Alleghe.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Adele
No,
asked,
I'm done. I'm sorry for all those questions. I know I'm
oh,
done.
no
with questions.
worries, no worries. Adele asked if I can bring my own power meter, and the answer is absolutely. You can bring your own power meter. It depends, like I used to travel with a Stages left side crank arm power meter. And now I have the Garmin power pedals, but you're welcome to bring whatever type of power meter you'd like. So Allison asked, we signed up for the classic climbs of the Dolomites in July. Can you speak briefly about that trip? Sure. That trip, I would say, gives you the best of both the Dolomites and the Italian Alps. And that trip stays in 2 hotels. We're in Alleghi for the first part. You'll get a cycle to Sella Ronda. I believe on that trip, you're going to do Passo San Pellegrino. And then we give you a little boost across the valley, and you are going to get to enjoy climbing up Passo Stelvio with all of its many switchbacks. It's simply incredible. You also get to experience Passo Motorolo and Passo Gavia. And the other hotel we stay at is in one of my favorite villages. It's Bormio. The hotel is a family-run place, multi-generational, called Baita dei Pini. And it's incredible. So it does give you the best of both the Italian Dolomites and the Italian Alps. And it's a 6-day, 5-night trip.
And what was that one again? What's the name of that one?
That's Classic Climbs of the Dolomites.
Okay, so Bormio Stelvio is a classic, one of those 5 or 6 we do, right?
Yeah, exactly. Stelvio, Gavia, Motorolo, the Sella Ronda.
Same price or more expensive?
That trip, I can tell you, just 1 second, I can tell you the cost of that trip. So this one, the Dolomites Bike Tour, it's a Discover style trip, and it's starts at $19.99. This one, I believe, is what we call our signature trip. And so it's going to be slightly more expensive.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this trip, the Classic Climbs, the Dolomites Bike Tour, it starts at $41.99, and it is a signature series trip.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do passes at altitude require I can't say the word right now. I apologize. Eric, can you say it? Yeah, thank you.
I gotcha.
We don't get so high up here that I think it's really going to affect you, but altitude definitely affects everybody slightly differently. However, depending on where you're coming from, you might not have any issues with that. Cool. Any other questions?
Not seeing any in. Is it time for to announce some raffle prize winners?
Yeah, it definitely is time.
All right. So our prize winners for our trivia questions tonight are our first trivia question. Our winner is Bob Simone. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. Cimon. Congratulations, Bob. Nice work.
Thank you very much. And you got
Then,
the pronunciation right.
awesome. Sweet. And then our second trivia question, correct answer was D, and our winner is Mark Kotovoski, I believe. So congratulations, you guys.
Awesome. Congratulations. Well, I don't know, Eric, what do you think? Should we get rolling and make our way over to Piedmont?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us tonight. And hopefully we'll see you on the road with us in Italy.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
Thank you.
George, thanks for joining tonight.
It's always interesting, especially since I've been over there, to see some of the pictures, etc.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say? Did you do classic climbs of the Dolomites or?
I did both the Dolomites and the Italian Alps.
Okay, so you did classic climbs of
Yeah.
the Dolomites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So did the Celaranda and did Gavia and Giao and Stelvio, and yeah, it was fantastic.
yeah,
Fantastic.
I took my wife over